Namo Phat. Good morning. Thank you for joining me for a daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The third mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I vow to cultivate responsibility and learn ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. I am determined not to engage in sexual relations without love and a long-term commitment. To preserve the happiness of myself and others, I am determined to respect my commitments and the commitments of others. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse and to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. We've been reading a Dhamma talk by Ajahn Candasiri called Handful of Leaves from the book The Body, Dhamma Reflections on Aging, Illness, and Death by the nuns of Amaravati. The fourth noble truth, the way leading to the cessation of suffering, points to the path of practice in our lives. It points to attitudes, understandings, or meditation itself. This Noble Eightfold Path is to be developed, to be cultivated. Usually when I'm talking about the Eightfold Path, I like to begin in the middle. As I describe it, I think you'll understand why. The middle factors are right speech, right action, and right livelihood. This refers to the way that we use speech and action in our lives, and how we how we live our lives at the most practical level. It relates to the 5 precepts, to sila. It means avoiding harmful speech or action, and avoiding as far as possible a livelihood that harms or exploits others. It means cultivating speech that is encouraging, supportive, and doesn't set people apart, that is not cruel, divisive, or harsh. Learning how to use speech in a way that promotes understanding and harmony. This doesn't mean that we never give feedback if somebody is doing something that is causing harm to themselves or others. We can certainly let them know that, but we try to do it in a way that will be easy for them to hear and receive, rather than a harsh or unkind way. We use our bodies to support and help others in practical ways, rather than just for our own advantage or pleasure. The Venerable Ananda once asked the Buddha what benefit there is from sila. The answer that the Buddha gave is interesting. He said that those who cultivate sila, who live according to basic ethical standards, can live without regret. When we learn how to take responsibility for our lives and live in a responsible, careful way, regret or fear is greatly reduced. Then, when there is no regret, we feel glad about our lives. We feel good about ourselves and the way that we've lived. With that comes a sense of bodily ease and well-being. And with a sense of bodily ease and well-being, of relaxation, the mind collects quite naturally. It settles much more easily than if we're full of fear, anxiety, or regret, or afraid of other people taking advantage of us because of something we've done to them. So living the middle part of the path carefully leads quite naturally on to the final factors of the path: right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, or right collectedness. These are the factors that make up samadhi, which is the ability of the mind to collect and focus. When the mind is collected and focused, we can observe the way it works. We can begin to look into our habits of thinking and to cultivate right understanding and right intention. which are the first factors of the path. Samadhi, or right understanding, arises when we've skillfully contemplated our lives, and right intention means understanding how to use the mind in a wholesome way. Together, these lead us back to right speech, right action, and right livelihood. Once we understand the ways in which we make life difficult for ourselves, this leads us naturally to living in a way that brings about and supports a sense of well-being. Thus, sila, how we live our lives, leads on to samadhi, the ability of the mind to collect so as to observe the patterns of thinking and their effects or the reasons why we suffer. Once we understand the reasons why we suffer, that constitutes right understanding and leads to right intention. Together, these are referred to as panya, or wisdom. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me this morning.